Welcome to Invictus Porsche. We've got a Porsche 911. This is the 991.1 Carrera S. It's the last of the naturally aspirated Porsche 911s. I'll be reviewing this, especially this being a convertible, and why the convertibles are very sought after in comparison to the coupe. And above all, I'll just be covering the performance, the handling, a bit of a history on the Porsche 991.1 iteration, and why they are, in my point of view, the last of the truly characterful, the last of the truly kind of analog Porsche 911s that one can get out there for their money. But before we can get into the review of this 911 behind me, don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment if you think we've done a good job or we could improve it, whatever feedback you may have. But above all, thank you for watching our videos, because we make money out of our YouTube channel, which gets donated to a UK registered charity. That money at the minute is being used for projects in relation to water wells. There are communities and villages of people where they have to walk 4 to 5 kilometers for a clean source of water. This is where this UK registered charity comes in and actually builds in a well for them in their village. Now back into the Porsche 911, the 991.1. This was the third time in Porsche's history that they have reworked a Porsche 911 from the ground up. I mean, it's absolutely unprecedented. In 2011, if memory serves me correctly, this was given the title of world's favorite sports car. And that was also the year where Ferdinand Porsche passed away as well. Ferdinand Porsche, who is obviously, the surname says it all, was one of the pioneers that have built Porsche into the brand it is nowadays. And in terms of the internal designation of the 991.1, this is the 7th internal designation in the Porsche 911 history. Another really big massive thing that happened around this time was the PDK and the direct fuel injection engines were introduced and put into all of the 911s, the Boxsters and the Caymans. Yes, they were brought into the Porsche 997.2s or the Porsche Boxster 987.2 S's or the Cayman.2's S's. But really, this engine took off and was put in across all of their platform, whether it was the base Cayman, the base Boxster, the base 911 or the S911. You don't see much of an engine here. As soon as you open the rear boot lid, what you see is just the 2 filler caps for coolant and for engine oil. This being the convertible, you don't have a boot lid that flips open like you would on a coupe. In the convertible, this whole section of the rear part opens up. Hold the button down and it goes down gently. We will be getting a bit more into the spec of this 911, but firstly, let's take it out for a test drive and tell you a little bit about the performance, the handling, what it sounds like, what it feels like, and then come back into discussing a little bit more of the interior and the exterior spec. Now, on to the fun part of these videos, that is having the pleasure of driving these. It's getting very dark, and the beauty of really illustrating the beige leather interior is just makes the whole interior cabin space very light, and it's probably right now is probably the best way to illustrate that. And if I was in a black car, it can be quite sad and just you don't get the feeling of what you feel in the 981 right now in this moment. From a performance point of view, this offers some phenomenal performance figures. It's out of that 3.8 litre naturally aspirated flat 6 Boxer engine, you get 395 bhp, 440 newton meters of torque. The top speed is, I think, circa 188 or 187 miles per hour, and the 0 to 62 miles per hour is possible in 4.5 seconds. I mean, credit to Porsche for introducing the 991.1 variant of these 911s, because they've completely blown it out of the park with this generation of the 911. Handling, sound, feedback, you know, everything that the 911 has to offer right now immediately is there. You can feel that this is a very reassuring 911 with those big wide tires. But you know, let's switch on sports. Let's press the sports button, pass them, and drive it like it's meant to be driven. Off the get-go, the 911, the 991.1S is just so robust, so, you know, snappy, especially pressing that sport and the passing button. But at the same time, when you're going around these corners, you know, I'm doing about 47 miles an hour in the 6th gear. It's very reassuring. The handling and the road feel that you get out of this is, you know, above par any other sports car can offer you. Let's just put that wind deflector up to kind of illustrate what it does. I was feeling a lot of wind being blown to the back of my head. All of that is gone. Getting the engine a bit warmed up just so I can drop the gears. And the beautiful thing about the sport design steering wheel, I mean, here you've got the minus and the plus button to actually drop the gear here. So that's in 3rd gear. You go up, you're in 4th gear. Alternatively, you can use the PDK gear selector here, which is also finished in this beautiful leather, beige leather, and simply slide it to the left and push it down one, and I'm into the 3rd gear. And that again just gives you that engagement that you're meant to get from the 911. And if you want to just put it back simply into the auto mode, slide it back to the right side, and off you go, you're back into the standard auto mode. What makes the 911 convertibles so desirable, so sought after? Why are they in such limited numbers? Well, firstly, they cost more than the coupe because of the engineering that is involved in the convertible roof and the engineering that's involved in making this more planted. So there's a bit more that goes into building a convertible versus a coupe. And secondly, not many get bought when they're brand new, therefore there is a shortage of supply when it comes to the used Porsche 911 market for convertibles. And lastly, a lot of us would have most of our trips and journeys and holidays planned around a sports car in the summer, not in the winter. And when you want to be in a Porsche 911, in a 991.1S, or it might be a 997.2, you would ideally want it in a convertible. However, there are many people that prefer a coupe over a convertible. But if it's me that is wanting something to drive to the office every single day in the cold British weather, I'd choose a convertible, because I do want a bit of a characterful thing, object, car, whatever it may be in my life. You know, I just want to feel the environment, the cold out there, and put my cap on, switch on the heated seats, heated steering wheel, the heat to the floor, and voila, job done. Just one more time to kind of reiterate the performance numbers from a driving point of view. The 991.1S for the first time out of the naturally aspirated 3.8 litre engine produces 395 bhp, and it's an understated 395 bhp, 440 newton meters of torque, and the 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds. Sorry, the 0 to 62 miles per hour in 4.5 seconds. And why the change from the hydraulic to the electronically assisted steering wheel? Well, the electronically assisted steering wheel just allows Porsche to kind of manage the kind of a feeling that a driver is meant to get from the other end, and also the electronic steering wheel is a lot more precise over the hydraulic, and depending on the car they're going to be putting it in, whether that's a Boxster, Cayman, or something else in the Porsche lineup like a Macan or a Cayenne, they can change the feedback that a driver meant to get, or the input that the driver needs to put into that steering wheel. And all of this makes this an incredible car to buy, to purchase, to drive, and just to kind of appreciate from a day-to-day point of view. And now lastly, the sound test. This is the best way to do a sound test. Park it, spots on. I'm not sure whether you could hear this, but it is an amazing sound. So thank you for being with me on this journey of test driving it. It's currently December, very late December, 27 December 2022. It is available in our stock for just under £50,000. And the next part of the video, I'll cover the paperwork, the service history, the owner's history. So yeah, let's cover that next. Now, in terms of the external specification, some of these spec items are optionals. Number one, this is finished in the basalt black exterior paint color. You've got the 20-inch 991 Carrera S alloys. These were the alloys that were introduced as part of the 991 changes. The front bumper is a redesigned, completely redesigned front bumper, and it's a very different front bumper to a base variant. You've got the daytime LED running lights. This has the optional lighting package, so you've got the dynamic PDLS kind of a plus package when it comes to lights. They also have the these little nozzles to clean the headlights. And coming to kind of the back of the vehicle from a mechanical point of view, this has the Chrono Sport Plus package, which gives you almost like a stage 1 remap kind of a feel to it. The throttle response, both from the steering and from the throttle pedal changes, and it's just a very snappier feel to the gearbox, to the overall handling, you name it, whether it's engine, transmission, and including how the steering wheel feels. Additionally, this also have a very rare spec item, which is the Porsche torque vectoring, the limited slip differential system. And if I can just sort of invite you into the interior of the vehicle, it's finished in a beige leather interior. You've got the steering wheel, which is the sport design steering wheel, which is also heated from memory. Not sure if it's heated. Yes, it is heated. You've got this little bezel there, which is also an optional, which writes PDK. You've got quite a few other bits of spec items here on the inside, such as the Sport Plus sports button, which is the chrono package. And another really desirable spec item on this is that from factory, what it has is an electronically operating wind deflector. Normally, if you don't know what the purpose of a wind deflector is, I'm sure you've seen me throughout the test drive not having my hat blown off my head, so you don't get almost like a tornado kind of a feel forming onto the inside cabin. And if you wanted to make use of the 2+2 layout, you simply press a button, the wind deflector goes down. The beige interior is a rather desirable spec item because it just makes the interior of the vehicle very airy and nice to be on the inside, and just has a very clean look to it. So I hope I've covered pretty much everything you needed to know from an aesthetic and mechanical point of view. The convertible with the roof down looks absolutely stunning, and hopefully by test driving it I've convinced you to get a 911 convertible if you're thinking about getting a convertible. But at the end of the day, what you decide is completely up to you, but decide on what makes you happy. Now, paperwork wise, this from brand new has got 4 owners. The 3 former keepers, but the current 4th keeper has had it from April 2022. And in terms of a service history, this has a full Porsche service history, and the last time it's been serviced at the main dealer was on the 15th April 2022. So it's not due a service for quite some time, at least until April 2024. There's quite a few Porsche invoices here that comes with the vehicle, as well as this being HPI clear, and you've got the full Porsche optional spec list. So thank you for tagging along so far, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.